A very good evening to you and welcome. It's Thursday, 11th July 2024. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. On the news this evening, Supreme Court ruling on financial autonomy for local governments stirs reaction. SERAP calls on governors to account for local government funds or face legal action. Meeting between President Tinubu, organized labor adjourned. Expert speaks as world marks Population Day. On the foreign scene, Kenyan president dismisses almost entire cabinet. I am Constance Mega. And now to the news. The Supreme Court's ruling granting financial autonomy to local governments has stirred reactions. Speaking in an interview with our correspondent, Port Harcourt-based lawyer Kennedy Allen Wakama says the judgment will affect the smooth running of the caretaker committees of local government areas in Rivers State. Dr. Allen Wakama said he expects the Supreme Court's ruling to hasten preparations for local government election in Rivers State.
Caretaker committees appointed by the Rivers State government and other state governments will be affected. But as it stands, Rivers State government is already ahead in preparations for election. So what it will simply mean is that, with this judgment, all it will happen is that people will go about to prepare to canvass for votes and the elections will be conducted. Since the Supreme Court has ruled that funds will be given directly to the local governments.
However, constitutional lawyer Felix Biragbara says the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission cannot change the date for local government election to fasten the process. He says the law allows the Electoral Commission to give 3 months' notice before an election is conducted.
What is in that law, as per the duration of notice to be given to political parties, I think it's 3 months, it's 90 days. And that's the same thing in the Electoral Act. It is a mandatory position that must be observed. This IEC has no authority to abridge that time. The 90-day full cycle must be allowed to run its course. So if the implementation starts immediately, then it will likely affect the caretaker committees that have been appointed. If the implementation is postponed, then the current caretaker in Rivers State may escape.
But Dr. Biragbara, a lecturer at the University of Port Harcourt, said the decision of the Supreme Court has nothing to do with the former chairman of the local government areas whose tenure had ended.
This decision today is not about those whose tenures have expired. This decision today is about those who are caretaker members. So as it stands today, there has been a change in situation. People who were there, their tenures have expired. So this decision has nothing to do with them. They cannot reap from this particular decision. This decision is not going to get them back. Because to the best of my knowledge, a court of law in Rivers State has nullified the law that purported to elongate their tenure.
Well, for Lagos-based lawyer Liberos Oshoma, He believes the financial autonomy leaves the federal government with the option to withhold funds of local governments that are still under the control of caretaker committees.
And so if that be the case, will the federal government give money to local governments that are not autonomous, local governments that are tied to the apron strings of the governors? The answer is no. So that will now hasten the step by various state governments to quickly conduct local government elections. And I know that for Rivers State, I know that local government elections are forthcoming. And we also know that you do not even need a court pronouncement to know that the State House of Assembly cannot stand by any stretch of imagination extend the tenure of a sitting local government council member.
Meanwhile, Chairman of the Rivers State Civil Society Organization, Senefa George Will, said the Supreme Court ruling is a move that will enhance Nigeria's democracy, but he wondered which bank account the funds for the local government administration will be paid into. Mr. George Will tells our correspondent that the judgment needs further clarification.
But now, the account is being paid to a joint account. Which account will this money be paid to? Bearing in mind we have about 20 states or thereabouts who are currently running CPC across the country. So we will pay to a specific local government chairman's account. We're still going to use the old law empowering the state government to set up this. For us, the Supreme Court would have just, in addition to the instructed National Assembly, to amend the law to accommodate the issue of conduct of election and the issue of creating of accounts.
Well, Mr. George Will also charged the citizens to ensure that they hold local government chairmen accountable to avoid misappropriation of funds.
I think the National Assembly could immediately cover the field by making sure that the amendment is done, and just so that the ordinary people can enjoy the proceeds of this judgment. Our people will only wake up from their slumber and holding local government councils accountable. The government not to even give this money to the local government. Again, just so that we don't create other terrors at the local government level. So we should only wake up to their historic responsibility by making sure that they call every local government chairman to account.
Well, earlier today, the Supreme Court declared that it is unconstitutional for state governors to hold on to funds meant for local government administrations. In its lead judgment, read by Justice Emmanuel Agim, the court also declared unconstitutional the appointment of caretaker committees by governors to run the affairs of the local government areas. In the meantime, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has called on state governors and the FCT minister to account for and return the local government funds they have collected or face legal action. The group said the dubious practice, which has gone on for over 2 decades, was a clear violation of Section 162 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Well, President Bola Tinubu hailed the Supreme Court's judgment affirming the constitutional rights of local governments. In a statement today, President Tinubu described it as a reaffirmation of the Constitution. Well, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has also welcomed the Supreme Court's judgment. Moving on, the Rivers State Police Command says its operatives have arrested some suspected one-chance syndicates operating in Port Harcourt and its environs. In a statement, the public relations officer of the command, Grace Iringekoko, said the command also arrested suspected armed robbers who robbed some commuters at the Oil Mill Market Junction in Obiakpo local government area. Now, the police also arrested a gang of criminals from Abia State who mainly operate in Rivers State. The State Commissioner of Police, Olatunji Disu, spoke on the arrests.
You mentioned the issue of one-chance syndicates. A lot of them we have arrested, over 14 teams. A lot of motorcycles they use have been recovered, and a lot of arms have been gotten from them. So we are so happy. We are so happy about it because this is crime that concerns the lowest of the community. I make bold to say that we have arrested one team again today, and then we notice a trend. A lot of them are coming from other states into Rivers State to perpetrate their crimes before escaping. There is a particular one that is of interest to us. They committed the crime with her and escaped to Maiduguri. I want to assure you that we went to Maiduguri, we have arrested them and brought them back to Rivers State.
Well, CP Disu also said the command is working to restore nightlife in Port Harcourt and its environs.
Our intention is to bring down crime as much as possible. My officers are dedicated, and I have a wonderful set of people working with me who have assisted me in bringing down crime to the barest minimum. Our intention is to bring up the nightlife as well, and then we are beginning to see that people are getting more bold to come out at night to enjoy themselves, because the city cannot grow without the nightlife being activated. We have a lot of businesses associated with the night, and I'm sure they're beginning to grow. We have been able to achieve this by clamping down on the criminals who are making life unbearable for everybody in the state.
As you may know, one chance is a form of robbery in which criminals disguise themselves as commercial motorists to rob unsuspecting commuters who board their vehicles and push them out afterwards. In another development, a member of the Police Community Relations Committee, PCRC, River State Command, Eric Eregari, has urged business owners facing extortion from fake task forces to report to the complaints unit at the Office of the Commissioner of Police. Well, this follows a Nigeria Info FM report that highlighted the complaints from business owners along the Eneka Link Road in Obiakpo about extortion by fake task forces, where Mr. Eregari assured that perpetrators will be dealt with once complaints are filed at the unit.
Tell them to go with the paper which they gave to them, that is for payment, where they have the account they're supposed to pay to. They should take that paper to that complaint office. It will get to the Commissioner of Police, who is readily available at all times to attend to such complaints. So they could take it to Moscow Road complaint unit just by the gate. There's a big building there. Ask anybody of the complaint unit, then they will attend to them, and those guys will be dealt with accordingly.
Well, as you may know, some business owners in the Eneka Link Road area told our correspondent that they received 7-day notices demanding payments ranging from 10,000 naira to 40,000 naira. And they were also asked to pay into a personal bank account from some alleged task forces. In other news, the meeting between Organized Labour and President Bola Tinubu has ended at the Presidential Villa Abuja and has been adjourned till next week. We're briefing State House correspondents after the over 1-hour meeting. President of NLC, Joe Ajero, and TUC's Festus Osifo say they are maintaining the status quo. On her part, the Minister of State for Labour, Nkiru Onyejocha, expressed optimism that an agreement will be reached. While discussions on the new minimum wage have lingered for over 6 months, with the federal government offering 62,000 naira, while Labour wants 250,000 naira. Still to come, expert speaks as World marks Population Day. Stay tuned.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back, and now to the rest of the news. A member of the Port Harcourt City Council of Chiefs, Eze Arthur Kalabo, has maintained that the people of Ikwere ethnic nationality are not Igbos. Eze Kalabo said this during the presentation of his book, Rebisi Natives of Port Harcourt, History and Development. He explained that the book establishes the true identity of the Rebisi Kingdom.
The name Ikwere is a name that came with the evolution of Port Harcourt. We are Ihoronha people, and we have our origin. Ihoronha migration, the Igbo connection is a mix of other waves of migration. Originally, you would see that the Ihoronha language has affinity with the Ekpere language, with the Ogba language. And if those people are not being claimed to be Igbos by whomsoever, why do you think that those of us who are Ihoronha are in any position to be so claimed? I think it is tautology for anybody to say Ikwere people are Igbo. You're either Igbo or you're Ikwere.
On his part, the royal father of the event and paramount ruler of Rebisi Kingdom, Eze Isaiah Eliku, advocated for increased documentation of traditional history, where Eze Eliku spoke alongside a former representative of Port Harcourt Constituency 1 at the National Assembly, Kenneth Chikere.
I challenge all of you here who are educated to document our history. Most of us here cannot connect ourselves to ancestral progeny. I hope that today's book presentation will mark the end of that era and begin a new era of written history. Oral tradition we know is our custom and tradition, but we've been exposed to education, we've gone to school, now we can read and write. Please, my brothers and sisters, we should begin to write.
The book is a historical account. I believe that history is important for every person, every family, every group, including communities. In teaching history, you need to teach true history, not adulterated history. So for Port Harcourt, I believe that this book presents a fair account of what ordinarily is the history of our people in Port Harcourt.
A health, safety and environment HSE expert Itoro Esionobong has urged Port Harcourt residents to safeguard the electric cables and transformers in their areas. Mr. Esionobong, an official of the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company, also encouraged residents to report any act of vandalism in their environment. He said this today on Nigerian 4FM's Hello Port Harcourt.
Our honest appeal to the public, please watch your infrastructure, because we don't have policemen and civilians at every transformer. We have a whole lot in one. So the public should also partner with us. If you see something, please say something. Use those our hotlines. You can call the radio station, you can call any emergency line and report. I am noticing some people moving around my transformer because apart from them stealing these things to sell, they are also dying.
Well, Mr. Esionobong also advised property owners, developers, architects and builders to avoid using substandard electrical materials to prevent fire incidents. Well, this call to action follows an incident where residents of Ojoto, Wokoma, Elechi and Ekwe streets in Mile 3 Diobu in Port Harcourt City Local Council of Rivers State were thrown into darkness about 6 months ago after some armed men vandalized a transformer that supplies electricity in the area. The dog population since for the past 19 years. In an interview with our correspondent, they urged the federal and state governments to focus on food production to address the country's food shortage.
The stimulated population of Nigeria, some people will say 200 million plus, some people will say, when last did we have population in Nigeria? That was in 2006.
Food production have dropped drastically across the globe, not just in Nigeria, and we should be worried. Science is causing a lot of problem in our world, causing more harm than good to human existence.
How do the government even know what job opportunities to release to the masses? Today is world's population day and we do not even know how many we are in Nigeria.
You find a situation whereby somebody that is even not having a good job has like up to 4 wives and is boosting the population of the world. How?
Well, a United Nations report says the global population reached 7 billion in 2011, nearly 7.9 billion in 2021, and is expected to grow to around 8.5 billion by 2030. Well, in an interview, gender advocate Sophia Daniels urged families to engage in family planning and birth control methods to address the increasing population and also poverty in Nigeria.
People are not saying that we as humans are our own problem. We're still increasing in our population, having multiple wives, bringing in more children into our homes. I see a lot of problems. Food shortage. If you look at Northern Brothers, they would not agree with what I'm saying when it comes to birth control, contraceptive and feminine autonomy. We should use today as a means to advocate, sensitize people, sensitize families.
Well, the theme for this year's World Population Day is Leave No One Behind, Count Everyone. The news continues after this break. Stay tuned. President William Ruto has dismissed almost his entire cabinet. Well, this comes after rallies last month over tax increases escalated violence, with police firing at crowds who stormed Parliament, leaving it partly ablaze. Well, the president is currently in consultation to form a broad-based government. And that's the news this evening. But before we go, let's take a look at the highlights. You heard that the Supreme Court's ruling on financial autonomy for local governments has continued to stir reactions, and SERAP is calling on governors to account for local government funds or face legal action. The meeting between President Bola Tinubu and the organised labour has been adjourned till next week. On the foreign scene, Kenyan President William Ruto has dismissed his entire cabinet. The news was edited by Onyeka Chinwosu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I am Constance Mega. Thank you for listening.